Now, today on Podcast Friday, there are topics we're going to talk about. We're going to touch on our conversation with Orlando Mokoena on Wednesday. A great conversation that we had with Orlando. We'll pick some things from there and we'll have a word about them. And then we'll also speak about Kaizer Chiefs sacking Ntseki, demoting Zwane and appointing Johnson. They play their first game under Cavin Johnson tomorrow. I'm going to be here for that game. I'm going to the stadium at Mpumalanga Stadium out in Hammersdale. They're playing Golden Arrows. I will be at the stadium. I came down to Durban so I can be at the stadium. I can't wait for that one. The guys are all in studio. We say welcome back to Nadim Lukele, who's in studio as well. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll introduce the guys and go into the business of the day. It's exactly 12 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's Sports Night Amplified with Andile, and it's Podcast Friday, your favorite show of the week. And the guys are going to be tackling some issues, particularly when it comes to Chiefs, because there are so many issues, or challenges rather, that we'd ironed out here on the show. But before that, I have to make a confession. It is a confession that is known to many, but it is one that I need to address, because every time I say this Podcast Friday, man, I butcher his name so badly. It's like, and I'm so well spoken, like I speak so many languages and I'm so good in so many things. The one thing I can't say is Mark's surname. Mkwanza.
Ma.
Uba nisibongo saka Mark.
Haskins.
Yeah?
Haskins.
Yeah? So it's two different things, man.
Haskins.
Okay, say it again. Which one is it?
Haskins.
Haskins.
Yeah.
Nadim, what's Mark's surname?
It's Mark Haskins.
Mark, what's your surname?
Haskins.
Almost the same, right?
It's the same. But
No, the one is H-A and the other one is H-U. So it's H-A. Haskins.
The A must be clear.
Okay, so what is it now, Nadim?
It's Haskins.
Mark, you get it now?
Hey, I've been living with it my whole life, so I'm good with it. It doesn't, I'm not bothered by it, really.
I really, Mark, trust me, the black in me just can't get around it. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Haskins is with us as well. Absolutely love his views every single Friday. Former professional player. He's most remembered. I don't know why this is, Mark, but you're most remembered at Swallows. Whenever I speak to people, they're like, yo, no, that's where they most remember you. Do you think that's, if you were to be a legend of any team, would be a Swallows legend?
I think probably Swallows is the most memorable of my football career. I think that's where most people identify me, even though I started and, I played 4 years at Cosmos and then 4 years at Swallows. Most people do remember me for my time at Swallows.
I mean, of course, our life has changed for Mark Haskins. He is now an analyst on radio and television, but also he has another job. What else do you do, Mark?
I work as a consultant, so we for a company that manages players. So if you want to put it in another way, it's as an agent. Although I hate that term because I'm not very fond of the profession itself.
All right, so he's not alone in the studio, though. Konza, we can't mention all the teams that he's played for. Every single week we struggle with them, but he's a former Bafana captain, former Kaizer Chiefs captain, former Golden Arrows captain.
Yeah.
I could go on. Speaking of Golden Arrows, I was with the boys today, spent the day with them. I can't wait to see them take Kaizer Chiefs on tomorrow. Konza, that's not all you do as well. You've decided to work with the youth.
Yeah, man, I've seen his space with youth, and also the very same token, I can see our country struggling in terms of developing. It is clear it needs a serious overhaul when it comes to grassroots, and we've got a low turnover of goalkeepers, defenders, Westgate, number 9, like South Africa. So this is the space where I want to go in, and I've already been there for so many years. We are now, we're London, now where we did that project, Shield, and these are the things that my mind is set on. Yes, TV, but ultimately,
Thank you so much. Mkonza is going to be sharing his views. And of course, we say welcome back. Come on, Malcolm, play it. Nadim Lukele is here. Welcome back. It's great to have you. I wish I was in studio, Nadim. Nadim, welcome back. We opened with you, and perhaps it's an opportune time. Biso sitting on the bench today. It's an opportune time to come in, Nadim, and go straight into it. You said it. We played it in the kickoff. It was almost as if you knew what was happening at Kaizer Chiefs. You've been saying that Ntseki is not the man for the job. Cavin Johnson will probably do a better job. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this week, Kaizer Chiefs making the big announcement that Ntseki is going to be relieved of his duties and Cavin Johnson is going to be taken over. Nadim.
Yeah, no, it's a good decision by Kaizer Junior. I'm not sure if it's the Kaizer Junior or Kaizer Senior, whoever is making the decision. One thing I like about Kaizer Chiefs now, they can act. They are no longer like before, where they will just stay with Steve Kombela for the whole season, even though the team is not winning any trophy, because it's uncultural at Kaizer Chiefs to finish the whole season without winning a trophy. So they saw that they made a mistake with Ntseki. That's why I even said I feel that maybe the Mtango family need to step back and hire someone who can run the team for them. Because hiring Ntseki as a coach of Kaizer Chiefs, I don't know what was happening there. That was just one of the worst mistakes. You can't even say they thought he's going to do. Where have they seen him at Welcome Stars that he can do well? Where is the coach that they think is a good coach? Okay, now it has passed. Cavin Johnson is in. He nearly won the league with Platinum Stars as well. He did well at SuperSport United. I rate him highly. Started his coaching pages in Brazil, also in Netherlands. He's one of those coaches, highly disciplined. I feel that Kaizer Chiefs now, the way they've signed Cavin Johnson, if he doesn't do the favoritism that Atazwane was doing, where he substituted Ngobo, was no longer playing him, who was the goalkeeper of the defender of the season at Swallows, he can finish higher than Pirates. I see Chiefs immediately by hiring him, if he can just focus on coaching the team, no politics, no grudges with players, clean slate. I see Chiefs finishing number 2 at the moment, because they are not far off.
Finishing where?
Number 2.
This season?
Yes, definitely. Because they are not far off. If you look at the team that is chasing the SuperSport is on 19 points. They are like maybe how many points? 8 points from SuperSport United. And they're playing Arrows tomorrow, of which I expect them to beat Arrows. If Kune is not playing, of course, because I'm not sure why Kune is being brought back in the team, because he's not been complaining on the bench. He's been sitting there motivating the boys. You can see he's a future coach or a future...
So just like that, they're going to beat an informed Arrows team.
It doesn't matter. It's
That's
Kaizer
sitting
Chiefs.
number 2.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You mustn't look at that. Once Kaizer Chiefs arrive in the area, mood changes. The fans, Arrows will have like maybe less than 500 supporters. Kaizer Chiefs will have 95%. Once Chiefs arrive in town, it's different. You used to play football, you know that. It doesn't matter if you're on form or not.
Nadeem, hold on, Nadeem.
On the field.
Nadeem, at the moment, Kaizer Chiefs sitting in 8th have only 11 points, right?
Yeah, correct.
And number 2 is SuperSport United at 19 points at the moment, right?
Yeah.
They both played the same number of games. So that's at 8 points difference that they must overhaul in order to come second. And you think that's something they can do with this
it's
current
something
team?
they can do. Remember, it's still more than 50 points to play for. I mean, there's more than 20. There's still a lot of points basically to play for. Kaizer Chiefs, they can still like really do well, because once they start... That's why I was even feeling sorry for Pirates, that maybe the derby came at a wrong time. Maybe Ntseki should have the one who took Kaizer Chiefs to the derby. But now Cavin Johnson is going to be difficult. I don't even think Pirates will be able to win that game. Chiefs will be difficult to beat now. That's one thing for sure. They are not going to lose matches where they should be drawing, or draw matches that they should be winning. They will change. You know, he's a PSL coach. He knows the players. He knows the country.
So the problem was not the players. The problem was not management. The problem was just the coach, Ntseki, according to you.
Of course. Remember, they've signed 10 players today or yesterday. They announced another player, which is 11 players. They recruited well. They have better players than Arrows. Kaizer Chiefs have better players than most of the team. Only Pirates and Sundowns have better players than Kaizer Chiefs in the PSL. So I expected them to finish higher, because they have the kind of support that can pull the team. If they have a right coach who's just going to focus on coaching the team, no politics, just win. I know Cavin Johnson. I mean, I know him. He's been coaching Platinum Stars for a long time. He's a guy who nearly won the league with Platinum Stars.
Okay.
Whoever.
Let me move to Mark, because I can tell he's itching to jump onto this. Mark?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, they say a new broom sweeps clean. So I do expect an upsurge in results immediately, but for how long is that sustainable? That remains to be seen. So I'm not entirely convinced that it was just the coach that, you know, caused the problems, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be the solution now. I mean, it's a lot to ask and expect of Coach Cavin, because if Nadeem is saying now he should win and finish second, is that being unfair? Is that a realistic expectation even to put on Coach Cavin, given the trouble that Chiefs have had over the last couple of years? I don't think it's really the solution, and I don't think it's realistic to expect all Chiefs' troubles and worries to overnight be sorted, or this to be the solution.
What do you expect?
I think for me, just to add that for Andile, for me, all I can say with Kevin, credible, right experience, resilience and inner strength. And the reason I'm saying that is he knows the culture. I'm a player, I like South Africa, but Chiefs is a different beast. And I mean, the job that he has is the biggest job in South Africa and the toughest of them all. You are expected to, hence I always say, you need to reconcile the winning culture versus playing well. Molefi Kaizer Chiefs. But again, Mark is correct in terms I share the same sentiments with the fact that our problems with Chiefs, it hasn't been only the coaches, because 7 coaches about Shinchile over the last 5 years speaks to Uguti. They've been trying to find a solution, but the solution hasn't been coaches. That's why the changes. So immediate success in football, it's a process. It takes a bit of time. And when you're a big club, there is a culture, there is a tradition of how you need to do things. So Kaizer Chiefs, for me now, also the challenge has been the accusation of return of investment. I'm a player that they've signed over the years. I've been saying that. Hence I said to you on Monday, management needs to take a bit of chance.
What is the number you said they've signed? How many and how many have been successful?
I've said 43, and not even one was Akpei, who was success, who was signed to understudy Ukune, but he became a regular. So my point.
So in the 43 players they've signed in the last what did you say? 5 years.
Say it again.
In the last, how many years did they sign these 43 players under?
I think it's 7 years.
So the last 7 years, they've signed 43 players, and all of those, only one has been successful.
So when you balance your books as a company, the first thing that you look at is the return of investment, where I've invested. Over the years, they've lost that investment. And that is why the results never lies. The outcome has already given Chiefs clear effect. But for you, as Besngasha Hispani the right way, we need to change the outlook. Yes, Cavin Johnson comes in. Is he a messiah? Can the play? Because the process, it takes time, and yes, we expect him to do so well with Kaizer Chiefs, but it's going to take a bit of some time. It's not going to just be tomorrow against.
But now you're taking me back to Steve Kompela, who asked for more time. You're taking me back to who else? Arthur Zwane, who asked for time. Ntseki, who asked for time. Then what's the difference?
If you go back to Kompela, were the results there was a trophy? Because ultimately, you are judged with the results and the trophy with Kaizer Chiefs. Yes, you can do well, play well. I just said you need to collide them. You need to reconcile them together. I hambi order where you play well. Because if you go back to Kompela, Chiefs were playing so well, but there was no results. And they were coming from Stuart Parks, who's been winning trophies, not the right way, but he was winning trophies for Chiefs. And that has also created...
Not the right way.
Yeah, false sense of comfort. To Stuart Baxter played transition, he changed the outlook of how Chiefs needs to play. And I spoke to you about how Chiefs used to embrace the possession.
So you don't only want to win as Kaizer Chiefs, but you want to determine how you win as well?
Altiam, let me tell you one thing. There were games where we played, but each minute would come in and say, guys, you're not playing the Chiefs way. What does that mean? You are not playing the Chiefs way, and it's
but you're winning. Doesn't that matter?
Yeah, you're winning. But remember, kuti labantu laba bazoithola entertainment nama results at the very same token. Akusikuphela ukuthi ujabulele ukuthi utholi 3 points. Uyithola kanjani 3 points? You are a big club, and why in a big club you need to win the right way. Follow we forced, So
you're going back to like a Fabio Capello at Real Madrid who won the league and was bombed because they weren't playing the Madrid way.
Thank you.
So Chiefs is the same thing.
I've been saying that.
For me, Andile, I want to say, what's the height of insanity? The height of
doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Yeah. So you keep rotating coaches. Is the coaches the problem? Because we've done the same thing over and over, and the results are still the same. So clearly we're not happy. So we need to start rethinking what is the actual problem. I think that needs to be diagnosed. What is the actual problem at Kaizer Chiefs? And until that's diagnosed, until that's sorted, I don't know how much joy the Kosi faithful are going to have.
I mean, when you look at it right now, and you look at what Kaizer Chiefs has done in all matches, the last time they won, of course, was 2 games away in the PSL when they beat Kukune 2-1. Yeah. Before that, you have to go another 4 games before you see a victory, including the Caps, of course, when they beat Stellenbosch, and it was a double there. They beat Stellenbosch and AmaZulu back-to-back. They hadn't done a back-to-back since, I think it was April this year. Yeah. Since then, there was a point where they went 4 games beaten. They were beaten by Swallows, they were beaten by Pirates, they were beaten by SuperSport and Cape Town, all in the same 4 games. And then, they drew against Cheaper, was a beating by Sundowns again. There just hasn't been a consistency in result. There hasn't been a consistency in players as well. So with Cavin Johnson coming in, do you see, because of the style and the team you're speaking about, you've been following him, do you see the players that were youthful players, or Ncube or Zwane, do you see them coming in? Do you see them getting a starting berth? Does he start from the bottom, or does he now try and win every game to try and, satisfy the Kosi faithfuls, and he starts at the top and just takes the senior players, the likes of Dolly, Kuna that you've mentioned, and say, guys, we need to win? What is his first point of contact? What does he do first here?
The one thing that is good about him, remember when he nearly won the league with Platinum Stars, he had Robert Ngambi, he had Pinson Mhlongo. So he's one of those guys who can, even with the senior players, he can improve them. They can play well at them. Even the young players, he can actually improve them. He's got a huge experience with developing players. Stephen Pienaar and so many players have been working under him. It's just a perfect story with him, because now he doesn't have time. He has to select the best players for each game that he feels that they can win a game, not drop points, because they've already dropped enough under Molefi Ntseki. You are rightfully so. They've not been winning back-to-back, but now they will start winning back-to-back under him, because he's a guy who does have the kind of players that Kaizer Chiefs can win. I mean, I saw them losing to Amazulu at FNB. No one can say Amazulu had better players than Kaizer Chiefs. It was one of those, because Ntseki didn't know what to do. You can't blame the guy. I mean, he has never coached in the PSL before. He used to coach Welcome Stars. You can't expect miracle from him to start now out coaching international coaches from Spain and also on all those kind of things. The same thing with when he lost to Cape Town Cape Town City, when he lost to Eric Tinkler. You just saw that Eric Tinkler outsmarted him. They started well, but at the end of the day, they got him when the players were tired. Now I feel he's the right guy who's gonna give your Samuel Ozwane a chance. At the same time, mix the young one with experienced players, which will improve the team. Chiefs, they've got the 12 men, which is their supporters. If they see that your energy is in the right place, if they know that you are doing, they will support you. Stuart Baxter, you can say whatever you want to say about him. In the last 10 years, he's the most successful Kaizer Chiefs coach. He nearly won the league.
This is the same Mazulu, no Brooks, no XTN, no Motswari.
No, but
exactly. Anamob is there, Phillies is there, Kakane even is there.
Yes, but
Mpatlele, come on.
Exactly, Mpatlele is the same one who was let go by Kaizer Chiefs. Most of the players, even they are
Motwa, number 2 goalkeeper in Bafana.
Yeah, but they're still not better than Kaizer Chiefs. Pound for pound, Amazulu don't have better players than Kaizer Chiefs. That's why Mpatlele is their number 1 centre back. I was thinking about it when Tim was asking me about the player of the week, but he's not. He was no longer. He was no longer the best at Kaizer Chiefs. Rightfully so. I know I've known him since he was 19 years. I get along with him, but he was no longer the person that he was to be a top centre back at Kaizer Chiefs. They do have players, but not better than Kaizer Chiefs. Chiefs, like
Mark?
I mean, Castillo started well. I don't know what happened when he missed in the final Nedbank Cup semi-final against Chiefs. Then they started dropping him. There was so many small things that were making players not motivated. You make one bad decision, then they drop you.
If I'm being honest, I actually feel sorry for Coach Ntseki.
Yeah.
Purely because I feel he was a reaction appointment. He was not their first choice. We know that there was a long time there was negotiations with the gentleman Nabi, I think it is.
Yeah, it is Nabi.
There was, I mean, how long was that announcement expected? Obviously, negotiations didn't go as planned, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Coach Ntseki is thrown into the hot seat. It was a reaction, a knee-jerk almost appointment. And that's why I feel it was almost unfair to put him in that position, because
but then
I mean he's a
I
real,
could turn around and say this is the same thing.
I actually
then,
disagree with you. He was a Bafana coach. It was not unfair. If you're Bafana, he was from Bafana. From Bafana, you can coach the Chiefs.
What was his day-to-day?
It doesn't matter. He accepted it. They didn't force him. He accepted it.
But Bafana, he only coached 9 games.
No, he accepted to coach Kaizer Chiefs.
But hold on. Here's what I'm saying then, Mark. If you're saying that it wasn't a planned thing, it's the same for Cavin Johnson, then, is it not?
Yeah, well,
it's a reaction, Andy.
Because that's another reaction.
Andile, when someone comes in as a TD or comes in behind the scenes in South African football, what does that mean? Why do you think Nadim predicted it months ago?
Ntseki came in the same way.
No, he didn't.
Ntseki came in the same way.
In the club?
Technical
director.
He's been,
but
he's
from technical director
head of youth,
head of youth,
and then technical director,
What
then
is a
off to
technical
the main
director
chair.
Advisor, team advisor.
No, you're dealing with what else? Who do you advise if you're technical
No, but
director?
also need to seven and a senior team.
All I'm saying is, I think his biggest strength. I love him. He's a gentleman of the game. I've had many dealings with him. I think his biggest strength, and
as an agent or as a soccer player?
As a footballer.
Okay.
He showed his quality as a coach at youth level, and I think that's his strength. And so for me, that's why he was always suited, and that's why he was a great appointment for Kaizer Chiefs. When he came in to the system, all of a sudden they were winning youth tournaments. They were like the best academy in Gauteng, and they won national tournaments. And that's all his influence, because that is his strength. When it goes to senior football, we saw with the senior national team, he wasn't as successful as a lot of his predecessors. So
what are you talking about? You're talking about Ntseki?
I'm talking about Coach
Cavin Johnson.
No, I'm talking about Coach Ntseki right now.
Okay.
This is Coach Ntseki.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, at the point in time, I felt it was, yes, you did accept the job. But you're employed by the club and you're asked to do a job, so you do it.
But also, Mark, let me give you another spin. Chiefs last produced youngsters that will go straight into the senior team. The Ngobos, you can see there's an element of not trust. Yes, the team hasn't been doing well because sometimes you can't just integrate these youngsters when the team is not doing so well. So this is the area also that Chiefs need to be aggressive. When they appointed Kevin, I was like, now that is the beginning of the right way.
Now I actually agree with you because when Coach Kevin was appointed, there's a player in the academy that I absolutely love. I believe he's the Kafu of the future.
So you wanted to talk to him as an agent?
No, it's nothing to do with agents. Nothing to do with agents. I just think he's a fantastic player. I've seen him at the Engine last year, but I feel like...
Who's the player?
Puso Ditejani.
Oh, okay.
I think he's one for the future. I don't understand why he hasn't been roped into the senior team as yet. Why he hasn't maybe just gotten a look even on the bench, maybe a few minutes here and there. But he's a right back, a wing back, an attacking fullback. He's brilliant going forward. He can defend. He puts great crosses. And now Coach Kevin is there. And I mean, Kevin's got a rich history with youth. I mean, from his School of Excellence days. He's the one that groomed the ninjas of the world. Steven Pienaars, Brett Carlsons, Sean Potgieters, all these guys. I mean, the list is endless. Brett Evans.
It's sad when you look at social media now and you look at Puso. I mean, he's been part of the trend today on what's happening at Kaizer Chiefs with its youth players, and we can't, and I'm not going to jump on that because we don't know the truths and the lengths of the truths of that story. But Puso Ditejani is one of those that has been mentioned as to be leaving Kaizer Chiefs. But
leaving Kaizer Chiefs.
Hey man, Kwanza, let me go to you here to sum it all up. You've heard everything. We've spoken about whether Ntseki was the best person for the job and why he took it and who let who down as far as the players, the coach, the management is concerned. We've spoken about Cavin Johnson coming in. You're a former captain of this team. Wrap it up for me.
I think, Andile, if you remember what I said to you, now we have this conversation. Good important. Good management needs to come forth and say, we've appointed, for instance, appointment ga Arthur. Let's go back to Arthur. Arthur, he was brought into that seat to restore the culture of the club, and now all of a sudden the expectation changed. They finally win, aggressively win our trophies and all that. That's why Arthur was let go. Ntseki reaction Jobu Makasho Guti Ntseki was brought in. And obviously, it didn't work out. I mean, 13 games, league which has never happened with Kaizer Chiefs. Now Ntseki is fired, and also, Andile, we need to be as honest as we can. Management needs to come forth and say it's either we're building or because I'm a process at Tatiskat. Unfortunately, football process takes a long time, and I can tell right now, if there's quality, then it takes a short time. But again, the reason it takes longer is you can see our players are struggling to fit into these expectations and the responsibility of being in Kaizer Chiefs. It's not easy. It looks difficult, but I can tell right now, let's give Cavin Johnson a chance. I think for me now, it's not gonna just be an instant change of everything. But for me, it's a good appointment.
Very quickly, all three of you. Let me start with you, Mark. Your expectations for Chiefs this season now that Cavin Johnson has taken over. I'm going to take it as if, and I think he's going to go the full season before they find anybody else who's willing to come in at this point of the season. With that in mind and all the players that they've signed, not knowing what they're going to do in January, what do you then think happens to Chiefs at the end of the season? Nadeem, I'm going to skip because he already said he thinks they're going to come second. Your thoughts?
No, I think Coach Kevin, with his pedigree, will definitely improve the team. I think we'll see a competitive Kaizer Chiefs, whether they're going to compete for the league or compete for CAF or Champions League honors or places. I'm not sure about that. I think if he got into the top 4, I think he would have done well.
CAF, you heard what?
It's top 4.
No, what I'm saying is compete for CAF. You heard what the men at Supersport said about that. No one cares for CAF in that building. Anyway, Mkwanza?
Yeah, top 4 Nam Andile, and then I am hoping I'll support in a different angle, but I believe that Cavin Johnson is very credible. He'll do well to stabilize, but Chiefs will be much better next season if it's given time. Ugutalung season.
Nadeem, I don't know if you're being zesty when you're asking, but a technical director is the man that is in charge of looking at the team holistically, liaising with the senior coach and making sure that from the junior departments and all the different lower level teams, there's a synergy from bottom to the top. And also, he takes over from recruitment, coach development, analysis of the overall game. That's what a technical director is supposed to do at a club. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's get to other news. It is Podcast Friday on the Mighty Metro FM. Thank you so much for tuning in. With an interview with Rulane Mokoena. This was on Wednesday. Just did not have enough time to get even to so much. I mean, there was just so much to talk about, and it ran away with us a little bit there. The one thing that everybody wanted to talk about, of course, was the Bongani Zungu thing. We got to talk about that a little bit. It was quite interesting. It was nice to hear his views. But the one thing that stood out for me, and I think more so today because of the signing of Bradley Ralani, who now joins Cape Town Spurs, was why and how it became that Sundowns let him go. Let's hear from Rulane Mokoena first.
And Cassius came first to my office and he said, "Look, coach, I have a couple of offers. And
No, that's the wrong one.
To pursue those." And as a coach that has been in the academy and having worked with Ralani's issue was quite complex because the direction we would want to take, we decided together that we wanted to take, unfortunately, also coincided with the Ralani's end of his contract. Yeah. And then, of course, when you looked at his age in relation to the direction we wanted to take,
Gents, I mean, it was a shocker to me when I saw Ralani leave, but we also spoke about Cassius Malula leaving Sundowns there, where he says he didn't want him to leave. Ralani was a little bit different, but then he goes on to say he's possibly top 3 of the most technically gifted players that he's ever coached. That's how good Ralani was at Sundowns, but he still let him go. Bradley has since spoken out, didn't, 100% enjoy his time at Sundowns because for the first time in his career, he wasn't playing. Sundowns are lacking in attack at the moment, but maybe so for strikers than, attackers. Let me go to Mark first. Mark?
Yeah, I think it was always going to be difficult to keep him, especially when you look at the players that they were bringing in. I mean, if you look at the likes of Mendieta, now they've got already Allende. Where was his space in the team? He says he didn't enjoy it because he didn't get as much game time as he was used to at previous clubs when he was overseas as well. He was used to playing regular football, and that was always going to be difficult at Sundowns. And so, it was. I think from a Sundowns perspective and for Surprise Ralani himself, it wasn't going to be a good fit for him to stay. I think someone who's as a senior player like him also needs to be playing, needs to be contributing, or else, it unstabilizes the dressing room. You want to keep your players as happy as possible. And in terms of squad management, I think that's why Sundowns probably had to let go of Surprise Ralani.
Mkonza, he says in our conversation that Sundowns obviously needs strikers because we've seen what's happened whenever, Peter Shaluli has been injured. Yeah. He's looking at 3 strikers. Yeah. One of them is overseas, but 2 of them are in the DSTV Premiership. Can you think of 2 strikers that could potentially catch Rolane's eye in the DSTV Premiership?
Yeah, for me, Mayala, who plays for Simba.
No, in the PSL.
Or PSL.
He says there's 2 in the PSL.
Hey, Andile, mangicabanga la PSL. Ubani ushaya net week in, week out. Because apart from Mushalule, who's already at Sundowns.
Well, Mabasa is the top scorer right now.
Yeah, so but does it fit on how Sundowns plays? Because even the case Ralane, it's a combination of factors. Ralane for me, Andile, one, how Sundowns play when they made Bamsaina. The first question I asked with Uzodala, because Sundowns are using wing backs as wingers to get the width. But again, for me, if you look at the age Ralane, it's 36, which then Sundowns are taking a direction of accommodating, integrating youth, Abomapena, Butelezi, the Nyangas, the Sianda Nyangas. So for me, I think it makes sense. You need more game time, Mogule age of Manj.
Nadim, 2 strikers in the DSTV Premiership. I want to hear from you. Who do you think are the 2 players in local football that he could possibly be looking at? But let's take a break first. It is Podcast Fridays. Opta Jabu's going to be coming in, and I hope he can give us a little glimpse into Cavin Johnson's time in the DSTV Premiership. Nadim?
Yeah, Andile.
What strikers do you think, and I know I'm pulling this one on you, what strikers do you think that would get into that Sundowns team in the DSTV Premiership? I was speaking to some players today, and most of them heard that, and, they're working even harder because they're hoping it's them. Who do you think it is? Who do you think it should be?
I think it's Mayo from Cape Town. I mean, he was a joint top goal scorer last season. Even, I think he was impressive. He's one of those players at Sundowns that you can think is still young. He was flexible, PSL experience. He can do.
What is he, 25?
Yes.
That's not young.
That's still young?
No, but it's still good enough for PSL. You remember PSL
Okay.
players, PSL players, that's their age. Most of them, we call them, most of the guys, they're 22 years, 21 years already. They're still in the TTC. So they're not, but Mayo, I thought of him. I heard the interview when I was talking to him. Also, because he has been at Pirates and he's one of the guys who developed a lot of players at Pirates, I thought of Zakeli Lepas immediately when he said those are the two players.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Because remember, he also played a huge role in development of Pirates players. Rulani, when he was an assistant coach to Michu and also was a senior coach there. So those are the two players I thought that's why maybe he didn't want to. Because immediately when the season finished, John Committees made him sign a 5-year contract, Mayo at Cape Town, because a lot of teams wanted to sign him. I mean, I know even some of the big teams wanted him. He's one of those players that if you want goals, you wanted him. And unlike Ranga Chivaviro, he's yet to score a goal at Kaizer Chiefs. People felt he's a good striker, but it's difficult. And I think almost all the teams in the PSL have a striking problem. If you look at Hropla, 35-36, scored 5 goals in the last 2 games. But I mean, at that age, you're supposed to see more young players. Pirates are struggling to score goals. I saw them playing against Amazulu again. They really struggle. Even tonight, they're playing at Orlando Stadium. It's one of those games where you fear for them. They're playing, I mean, sorry, Porokwane City.
Well, let's go straight to Opta then, because he's got an amazing stat on Bradley Grobler, scored a hat-trick just yesterday. Opta, thank you so much for joining us. Linda Lamoyo standing in for the guys at Opta Jabu. Do follow them. It is at OPTA Jabu on Twitter. Opta, what do you have to say about Bradley Grobler?
Good evening, Andile, and everyone that's listening on the show. Grobler scored a hat-trick last night, and it became his 105th, 106th, and 107th goals in the PSL. So basically, he's gone level with Peter Salulile as the 4th highest goal scorer in PSL history.
That's amazing. Who's ahead of them?
He only has Mabuti Kanyeza to catch up to on 110, Daniel Mudau as well on 110, and the all-time greatest Siyabonga Nomvete on 123.
Amazing. But how old was he? 30? How old was he yesterday? 35, yeah?
That's the thing. Hey, he's 35 years and 9 months when he took to the field yesterday, which makes him as well the 2nd oldest hat-trick scorer in PSL history.
Second oldest?
2nd oldest.
Okay, hold on. Hold it right there. Here's a quiz for you guys. Mark, who's then the oldest
Wow.
hat-trick scorer in the PSL history?
I would have to go with Bele then.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Bele, okay, Mkonza?
Yo. Nami ngakubhele mfana kithi.
Okay, Nadim?
Yeah, I have to go with it. No bet.
Well, you guys are all 3 wrong. All 3 of you are wrong. The oldest hat-trick scorer. Opta, take them out of their misery.
The oldest scorer is John Shoes Moshwell.
and you know,
Bafowethu.
How old was he, sorry?
He has actually 2 goals, 2 hat-tricks when he was older than Bradley Grobler.
Yeah.
One is 37 years and 8 months, and one is 38 years and 4 months.
What?
In the same season.
That is ridiculous.
Hey Bafowethu,
The legend himself.
That is ridiculous.
that one doesn't surprise
Yo,
me.
Nkosi.
I think one of my all-time favorite players, all-time greats of South African football,
Yeah.
definitely doesn't surprise me. I think what many people don't even realize, he was in his 30s already at the 96 AFCON, I think.
Yeah, at 40.
Yeah, no, he's in my top 3. He's in my top 3. We all know who number 1 is, but he's definitely part of my top 3. Not
Indeed.
1, but he's 2 and 3. Cavin Johnson, talk to me about Cavin Johnson.
I'll tell you what, about for Nadim and the rest of the crew, Siyabonga Nomvete is number 4 in terms of the oldest goal scorers of a hat-trick.
How old was he?
He was 34 years, 4 months, and 28 days.
Okay, so Bradley's a little bit older than him. Kevin Johnson, a lot of people asking and wondering about him. What can you tell us about Kevin?
It's been an interesting conversation, Andy. I've been listening the whole show. But then before we get too carried away, he still has to win his very first game. There's been a curse on coaches in the last 7 circulations at Kaizer Chiefs in terms of winning their first game. Only one of the last 7 Chiefs coaches has won the first game when they are starting at the club.
So Kompela drew his first game. Solinas drew his first game. Hunt lost his first game. Baxter drew. Athazwane lost. Ntseki drew. Who's the only coach in the last 7 coaches that has won their first match?
So the only one is Ernst Middendorp, who won when he started in 2018.
Wow. Last one, Orlando Pirates. They're in action right now.
Yes, they're in action in 45
Well, in about,
time.
45 minutes.
So they actually playing Polokwane City, who we know were promoted last season. Pirates have lost just one of their last 20 games against newly promoted sides. There's 9 wins, 10 draws, and 1 defeat since 2015.
Wow. Guys, follow him. Opta, where do they follow you?
OPTA JABU, as you said earlier, and also Analytics Laduma, who is now verified on social media.
Please do follow them. That helps with the amazing work that they do, and they're able to share all of that with us here at Opta Jabu and Analytics Laduma as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Linda Lamoyo, who joins us live from Cape Town. We're covering the country, Cape Town, Durban, and Johannesburg today. Nadeem, what game are you looking at this weekend?
Yeah, actually, Kaizer Chiefs, I mean, it's a big game. Because of the pressures too much for... Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's let you breathe. I'm going to let you breathe. I hear you're struggling. I'm a co-sign first. Wow. So go drink some water, take a break. Mark, let me start with you while this man sorts himself out.
I'm actually, tonight's game is of huge interest to me. I think obviously the MTN8 champions, and but more so because of the performance that Polokwane City put up against SuperSport United, knocking them out of the Carling Cup. Absolutely sensational performance. I mean, 4-1 in the end. Nobody saw that coming, but great performance, from Letlo Nola CMS men. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they put up against Pirates tonight.
And how do you see it play out?
Honestly, I think it'll be a draw, but I think it'll be an entertaining one.
Polokwane City at the moment sitting in 5th, taking on an Orlando Pirates team that, of course, has played less games and 6 and sitting in 13th position. If they win their 2 games or 3 games in hand, you could see them go up a bit further. Konza, what game are you looking at?
Mini game Andile, it's Cheaper versus Amazulu. I think if you look at Amazulu, last 2 games they've played, they've collected 4 points, beating Chiefs, and collected a point against Pirates during the midweek. But if you peg it cheaper on the other side, the last 2 before the E-Cup game where they lost to Stellenbosch, they won, they beat SuperSport, they beat Richards Bay. So these are 2 teams that are going pound for pound. I think they're going to nullify each other if but I think for me now what's important is what Ukanu Vilagazi has brought into Cheaper. The teams look stable and it's watchable.
Technical director.
I'm Kadesh.
Yeah, Andile, as I said, for me, it's Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, I expect instant results from Cavin Johnson. There's no time. He needs to go and beat Arrows at Hammersdale. I mean, he's got the players. The problem on it.
Mark, why do you laugh?
The problem that I have is that Itumeleng Khune, I'm not sure if he's going to start because Brendan Peterson has not been playing the last few matches, and every game that Khune has been playing, they've lost, even the friendly matches. So.
I'm friendly.
So, even all the friendlies, even before the season starts. Yes, yeah. Khune has lost every game he played this season. That's why I was shocked when they actually.
So Kevin must come with a magic wand and just make miracles, eh?
Already,
you expect him to win same time.
Come
and win.
The team has quality players. They've signed 11 players.
He's had 5 days to prepare the team.
No, it's been there. Remember, it's been there since September. It's been. Andile explained that the technical director oversees the team. He's familiar with almost everyone now. It's not like he joined the team on Monday. He's aware what's happening. He knows who's
Nadim,
who.
what was his role when he came into Chiefs?
Exactly. He was working with the technical team, right? He was the technical director for it. He was a development coach.
Head of youth.
Yeah, but still, you'll see.
How's that anything to do with the first team?
But you still see the senior team. You're aware.
Yes, but are you?
You see them.
What input do you have in the first team when you are head of youth? When you're running the youth?
Unfortunately,
you
we are running out of time.
Team. I mean, come on.
We are running out of time. Konza, one of the biggest fans of this show, a man that I thought I was going to be spending time with here in Durban, but unfortunately, Usaid Gqeberha, Uchi, please, he's got a different job now. Don't misquote his job.
Yeah.
He says our win, yes, because Sekasemazulu Propilan against Chiefs was Carling Cup and not the league. To correct you there. Okay, guys, before we take calls, I think we're going to have time for 2 or 3 calls here. Very quickly, Mark, I'm going to come back to you here. What your best player this week and something that didn't quite stand out for you?
My best player this week, easily, Oswin Apollos, Polokwane City. That I spoke about that performance from Polokwane City, what they did against SuperSport. And, Jose Mourinho said he always plays, if you're playing against your former club, you're the first name on the team sheet. And that's the kind of performance Oswin put up against his former club, SuperSport United. He was absolutely stellar on the night.
Say I as a driver.
Yeah, on my side, my player of the week, it has to be Ramasham Patel. I think was brilliant against Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
He marshaled the defense very well, even when one of the other center centre partners was injured. You saw him, like his leadership. I mean, against Pirates, they struggled to create a clear-cut chances. I know Kropper scored a hat-trick, but obviously goals, we need them. But it's between them. But Mphahlele, for me, I think he's improving.
Yeah, for me now, I think Brad Krobler. Why? The age itself shows still a quality. Class is permanent. Real Emia Puma of it. I'm not sure. I've watched them yesterday. I don't see any change. Yeah, ngat bazocreate. But ngifuna correct Propilan ngizwile ukuthi apply ukuba a second assistant lapho nge-maths nge-certificate se-maths.
So that's your low.
Yeah.
Royal AM.
Yeah, Royal AM. That's my low.
I did say when the season started that they will be relegated. When that Nukovic signed, when that ban was coming, I knew they were going to the NFT.
So you're agreeing with, is that your low for the week as well?
Of course. I mean, they don't look convincing, Royal AM. I mean, the players that they play, they needed to revamp the squad. We're talking about Chiefs struggling in the league after signing 10 players. Imagine they didn't even sign a single players. They're still relying on Thabo Mahlaba and all of those guys.
Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Liparo, Mkonza, Mark Haskins, and Naitim. I was looking at Kalipa Kenyam in Tepen. On Naitim, I'm trying to Cavin Johnson. I'm trying to get ukuthi things ukuthi uzoveleza nemlingo nje. Kuyikeza Chiefs. It's not that easy Naitim. Chiefs izoqhubeka nje idlalele ngendlela ebidlala ngakhona. Maybe next season ke masebone kahle ukuthi kufanele yenzini, but not this season. Angeke azenze nemlingo. And you're forgetting one thing, like Cavin Johnson. I think the last time he coached was 2020. He was a head coach, and the season ends was that season where he took them to number 2. After that, he was fired. At some point, he was suspended by Brett Lopard because he was not doing umsebenzi omuhle. Sport was fired. Amazulu, he was fired. So nje angazi ukuthi uNadim ucabanga ukuthi after that yena nje imlingo izobe siqhamuka phi uzolengena ecala.
Thank you, Zulu. Let's play another one.
Yeah, good evening, Andile, and the listeners of Metro FM and the gentleman in the studio. Yeah, I think the player that coach want to sign, Coach Rulani, he want to sign Mabasa. Remember, they had a very good relationship at Pirates. And you must understand, for me, Ralani to leave Sundowns, I think it was one of the biggest mistakes. Because that guy's got composure, he's clever, he's been international, he play overseas. And when you compare the young star like Maseko, I mean, Maseko, they don't even add value. There's a lot of players. Even for me, Mendieta, I mean, he always try to work hard where it's not necessary. But we will support the coach. He will sign the players that they will fit his style of play. And you must understand, I mean, that's the honest truth. The technical director is there. They are making money. They have to sign the players that they're making money, a lot of money.
All right.
Godfrey from Kibla Park.
Thank you so much. If you're watching the cricket game, the Proteas, they're busy doing a balk and trying to pull a balk on us. It's nervy stuff at the moment. But let's go to calls. Who do we have? John is in Cape Town. John?
Hi, how are you, Andile?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. The guys are here. Talk to me.
Yes, and the team. Yes, still have it. Guys, listen, Kaizer Chiefs, it doesn't have, a big deal that we need to do there. We've got everything. The only thing that we need is only the combination and understanding of the technical change.
Correct.
If you can go and check the game that we were playing with Cape Town City, the cup that we won, that's where we lost our combination. We got our combination there, and when we got off the field, we forgot what we were doing.
When was this?
Come again?
When was this?
I think that's the quarterfinal against Cape Town City is referring to.
Oh, no, I thought you said the trophy they won. Hence, I was a bit shocked.
The one that we won while we were playing at Athlone Stadium.
No,
MTN
8 quarterfinal.
Yeah, the quarterfinal, the cup game, not the cup.
Correct. Yes, if you can check that game, we lost the combination there. We went out of the field, then we go to the next game, then we started afresh. As a coach, you need to get the combination of,
But John, you haven't had that combination that's won anything in over 3,000 days. Over 3,000 days of game time where that combination hasn't been existent.
If you can check Andile, if you can let's take for an example Rulani. He got the first 11 that he knows that I'm going to just substitute, but I know there's nothing, everything I have in the field. But now you get into the field this week with a strong team. The next week you come with another one. That one, it's done. Okay. The other thing.
Yeah, but you're taking one good game and you're thinking, like you're layering it as if it's Chiefs being good. That was one good game. There's 8 years of bad games.
That's the only game that was good because now they maintained a win from the start. They start winning the game, then they maintained it up to the last whistle. So now,
John?
each and every game that we are losing, we lose the games at the last minute because we forget.
John, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. Guys, no, we got to go. Unfortunately, the time is gone. It just goes on a Friday, doesn't it? But I know you appreciate these guys. I appreciate them too. My dream is to take this show on the road. I want to have this show all over South Africa with a live audience so that we're able to interact with you in person. I know you'd love it, and we're working hard to make that happen, and it's going to happen. Thank you so much to Naked. I really do appreciate you, but more so my 3 guys in studio, plus Biso and Timmy. Thank you so much, guys. Durban, I'm at the game tomorrow at Mpumalanga Stadium at Hammersdale, Kaizer Chiefs and the mighty Golden Arrows. Pela, Ngantso me.